Aquarius, this is your week ahead astrology forecast from Astrology Motivation by Born Without Boundaries. Welcome guys, my name is Michelle, and in this video we're going to go through the major planetary aspects and transits for this week and how they impact or their relationship to your natal sun. Now, I don't know where your natal sun is, and if you don't know where your natal sun is, you know it's somewhere in Aquarius, right? And I will definitely estimate dates for you. But if you'd like, go check out your natal chart. You can get one for free. Just search in any search engine. What you'll need is your birth date, your birth time, and your birthplace, all of which are on your birth certificate. Just plug that information in, and in seconds you'll have your natal chart, which will give you the exact degree within the sign, the zodiac sign of Aquarius, where your sun is sitting. So if your sun sits between 0 and 9 degrees Aquarius, you were born in the first decan or group of 10 degrees of Aquarius. So you guys are Aquarius 1. If your natal sun sits somewhere between 10 and 19 degrees Aquarius, you were born in the second decan of Aquarius, and you guys are Aquarius 2. And if your natal sun falls somewhere between 20 and 29 degrees Aquarius, you were born in the third decan of Aquarius, and you are Aquarius 3s. So check out your natal chart if you can. Now, in terms of the dates differ, but if you are a January Aquarian, you are definitely decan 1. Usually Aquarius 2 is somewhere in the first 10 days of February. And then we have the rest of you up through February 19th, which is when a Pisces starts. So it's in and around those times, Aquarians, just FYI. But those are a little bit... they toggle by year, so natal chart is always the best way to find out exactly what degree your natal sun sits on. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the big transits that impact everybody. And then we're going to whittle that down to how they impact Aquarius and the specific transits or specific planetary actions or interactions that impact you guys. And then we're going to go real deep and get to the decans to see exactly how everything is impacting you specifically. So let's start out really broad, Aquarius. This week covers April 12th through the 18th of 2023. And something that already happened, but it just happened yesterday, is probably the biggest transit this week, and that is Venus into Gemini. Venus has left her home of Taurus. She just did it yesterday. It happened April 11th. And she's worked her way into Gemini. Now, Venus in Gemini is very different than Venus in Taurus. Venus in Taurus is very sensual, likes to stay home, likes the coziness, sensuality, sexuality, connection of one person. But Venus in Gemini is all about getting to know people, friendship and interactions that way. So this is a wonderful time for you to work on your friendship with your significant other, the aspect of friendship that is part of your relationship. It's also a great time to date, get to know multiple people. This is not the best time, especially since we have a Mercury retrograde coming up next week. It is not the best time to dive into a permanent or long-term relationship, but it's a great time to get to know people. Venus in Gemini loves to talk. She loves to chit-chat. Communications are very important to how somebody speaks, their eloquence of speech. What you say to somebody is going to be of particular importance now. Just an FYI, it's also an excellent time to learn more about your finances or learn how to work with money to help it make it a mastery and improve your financial situation. So that was the big transit, but there are two big conjunctions that are impacting everybody as well. The first is Jupiter conjunct the sun, or the sun conjunct Jupiter. And that is happening in the zodiac sign of Aries, because that's where they're both located. It's happening all week long. In the third decan of Aries, it's happening about 22, 23 degrees Aries, and it'll be happening all week. Now, what does that do? Basically, it gives people big heads. It's a big sense of self, but it's also self-confidence. So there is this charge of self-confidence, maybe even cockiness, it's less about risk-taking and more about just feeling so good about yourself, you think people deserve to notice you, but you may be thinking a little too highly of yourself. Sun conjunct Jupiter, the one caveat with it doesn't necessarily... It has a lot of confidence, but that's not necessarily aligned with competence. So there could be, or you could find yourself interacting with people who feel like they deserve more than they really do. Just an FYI, but it does provide a lot of opportunities for expansion and growth of your personality. But it could also mean you're dealing with a lot of big egos, FYI. The second big conjunction, and I think this is a little bit more interesting and definitely impacts you guys directly, since it includes one of your ruling dignitaries, is Mercury conjunct Uranus. And this happens in a couple of days. It starts as of tomorrow, so as of the 13th, so Thursday. Mercury is then in about 12 degrees Taurus, and Uranus is about 17 degrees. Uranus will not move that much, but Mercury will get closer and closer as the week goes by. And this is an interesting conjunction. And interesting is a really good word to use for it, because Uranus is the higher mind. It's the genius that thinks outside of the box. And Mercury is the everyday mind and everyday communication, everyday practicalities and intellect. So Mercury is sort of the lower mind of Uranus's higher mind. And when they conjunct, this is those two coming together. And we could really actually get some communication or messages coming through from space, in other words, this is a time where we would see some really exceptional thoughts translated for the common man to be able to, so really beautiful breakthroughs and intellectual breakthroughs could be happening now. We could also get surprising messages or finally understand something because we look at it from a different perspective, understand something that we surprise ourselves with because we never understood it before. This is when cleverness is off the hook, and it will especially impact you guys because Uranus is your modern ruler, and everything that is happening to Uranus impacts you. Uranus is still in Taurus, of course, and like I said, all week long it is going to be conjunct to Mercury. So that's kind of huge for you guys to be very, very articulate, to know exactly what to say, and also a sense of finding your mind reaching beyond the norm and interested in odd things. Trust your mind and let it take you where it will this week, Aquarius. Now, Saturn is also your traditional ruler, and Saturn is in a really harmonious trine still to the south node. It is also sextile to the north node, which means finding a settlement or comfort in what you are good at and what you know and what you understand, and how do I use that to move forward and open up new opportunities for myself. The trine to Mars is going to drop off by the 14th, so by Friday. But there's also that eloquence there between Saturn and Mars trining, which is knowing what to do and getting things done with efficiency and responsibility, but definitely moving things forward. And then we have Saturn all week long is going to be square to Venus. So there could be some upsets when it comes to your value systems or feeling devalued somehow because of maybe a contract or some sort of obligation, feeling trapped in financial situations or stuck somehow, being pretty formidable and maybe being too controlling when it comes to financial situations or in terms of who you're attracted to or what you're attracted to. So know that that could impact you directly, and we're going to get into who that is going to be impacting directly this week. So let's get into the decans, Aquarius. Aquarius 1. You are in a really interesting position because if you are born at the very, very beginning of Aquarius, so Aquarius Capricorn cusp, you know that a long-term aspect that your natal sun is going to experience for quite a few years actually is a conjunction to Pluto. And that means that your life is inherently changing and it's going through major changes, major metamorphosis. So changes that you will not be coming back from. This could feel like almost a mini or its own Saturn return, a sense where you're not going to be the person you were before. Lots of intensity, lots of dynamic changes, and lots of sort of, it's almost like, since your natal sun is the one conjuncting Pluto, a sense of authority that you never possessed over your life before. Your natal sun is also, and this is a long-term transit, sextile to Neptune. So sextile to Neptune means broadening and opening through creativity and finding a lot of opportunities through spirituality and faith. So you guys in particular, your faith systems could be changing dynamically, your spiritual beliefs and your connectivity to God, and also finding opportunities and inspiration because of your connectivity to God and how you find yourself changing and morphing into this deeper, more spiritual version of yourselves. This week in particular, your natal suns are going to be square to the Jupiter-Sun conjunction all week long. So yeah, you'll be sort of pairing off and meeting challenges from people with big heads, or your big head and your overconfidence could also be getting in your own way, thinking too much of yourself or feeling like you're not good enough unless you talk yourself up, kind of thing. Your natal suns are also going to be trine to Venus for just this week. So there is a beautiful sensuality to your character, a beautiful sort of fortune or harmony that comes when it comes to your romantic situation or your love life or even your finances, figuring out how to make them harmonious. So that's kind of your blessing for this week. Aquarius 2s, your natal suns are square to the Mercury and Uranus conjunction as of 4/13, so as of tomorrow. So this is really interesting. It puts you in an interesting spot because this is your ruling dignitary, Uranus. But in other words, there could be some surprising information that comes up that you didn't expect to have to deal with, or the fact that your mind keeps wandering because there's a sense of needing or feeling like you have to do more or think bigger or think farther, or that all this information coming out is putting a chink in your chain and maybe in some ways challenging you. So that's an interesting situation this week, and I'd love for you to leave the comments below and tell me how it is impacting you, how you are experiencing it. Your natal suns, and this is a long-term aspect, are also sextile to Chiron, which means finding opportunity and transformation through your suffering, finding a purpose, finding a way to put the ways that you've suffered and the ways that you've hurt into purpose, and finding how to illuminate yourself by helping others through the experiences that you had to suffer through. So that's actually a beautiful catharsis, and you guys will be experiencing that for a long term. And then for this week in particular, your natal suns are going to be quincunx Mars. So in terms of getting things done or finding motivation, you could also feel that you're a little bit lagging or can't find the energy that you need. Or if you do find the energy that you need, you can't get things to move. It could also be aches and pains in the body, just little things that frustrate you this week when it comes to momentum and energy. And then we go to Aquarius 3s. Aquarius 3s, your natal sun is sextile to the Sun-Jupiter conjunction. And this is wonderful energy. It means that confidence and competence are matching up, and that this week is going to open exceptional opportunities for you to be seen, for you to be appreciated, for you to be respected, for you to grow and like expand your vision. Just fortunate opportunities for you guys, and I love it. And then you also have, that's it. That's pretty much all I got for you guys. Oh no, No, not a big deal. I hope that you guys find this information useful in some way. Please leave your comments below because I would love to know how this is impacting you. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video, and definitely check out the corresponding week ahead tarot card reading on Born Without Boundaries Tarot. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.